What's good, everybody? My name is Frankie Screams, and welcome back to a Theme Park Podcast YouTube channel. I have a video exclusive for you today because Horror Unleashed just dropped a brand new trailer for the classic Monsters Haunted House attraction. I cannot wait for this. I'm so stoked about this. So we're going to watch the trailer. We're going to break down what we can from it. We'll go over it in slow motion. We'll look at all the little details. We'll check over costume design, makeup design, all of that stuff. Then we are going to break into the internet world and see what we can find outside of the YouTube channel for Horror Unleashed. There's a brand new interview that came out from the Universal Studios podcast. We will break that down. And then there was a brand new article that came out while I was recording this video from USA Today, where they give us a lot more information and a lot more insight, the type of stuff that I was hoping to hear from Universal directly on their podcast, but we didn't get that. But we did get it on the USA Today article. So I read the article. I broke it all down for you. There's a lot of stuff in there to get hype about. So sit back, enjoy this video, and make sure you subscribe. Let's get started. We are going to watch real quick. It's just a minute and a half. I'm going to skip over this part because this is the part that they always put in every single trailer. But right here, we're going to start. So this is the fourth and final haunted house attraction for Horror Unleashed in Las Vegas, opening just a couple months away in August. So we had Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we have The Scarecrow, and we have The Exorcist Believer. And now we have our fourth and final, the Universal Monsters Haunted House. Let's effing go, guys. Let's watch this trailer, and then we will break it down in slow motion and go over a lot of brand new footage.
Terrifying scenes.
In the Universal Monsters house, you get to follow Van Helsing as he battles all of your favorite classic monsters.
Our legacy of creating horror at Universal Studios goes all the way back to the beginning of film itself. We've been creating iconic horror movies that have stood the test of time.
Our Universal Monsters Haunted House takes you through the stories of all of the classic Universal monsters. All of them are there, and you get to walk into their world. Costume and makeup has always been a key part of telling the Universal Monster stories. The more details that we're able to put into these costumes and makeup, the richer the character becomes, and the scarier they will be for all of our guests to encounter.
We're bringing something entirely new to Las Vegas. It is a year-round destination, and so is our horror brand.
You're not really exposed to one type of horror, one type of character. It is multiple characters in multiple different environments that really become your evening of nightmares.
From the moment you walk in, you will be transported outside of your reality into the world of Universal Horror.
Hell yeah. That was a really good trailer. I'm so glad to see that there's a lot of new footage that we haven't seen yet. I'm going to loop this trailer real quick as I talk over this. But first off, my first reactions on this trailer looks amazing. I am so glad that we have a classic Universal Monsters Haunted House that will be open year-round at Horror Unleashed. Looks like they did a great job. The premise is you're following Van Helsing as Van Helsing chases down all of these monsters, all these classic monsters. Love it. Love me a classic Universal Monsters story. Happy to see Van Helsing getting some love too. Somebody who hasn't really been getting much love lately. It looks to me like recently they filmed a lot more footage of people going through the houses and going through like the restaurant area and the show area. And this is the first time we're seeing any of this brand new footage. So I'm stoked for that. We're going to break down some of that right now as we throw this into slow motion mode. All right, I'm going to start breaking down some of the slow motion footage. We got Phantom of the Opera. It looks like really good, gruesome, bloody makeup there. Maybe a Dracula's wife or something like that up there. And then a bunch of other vampires down there. More of the Phantom of the Opera. Looks like he's coming out of like a mezzanine like section in a theater. So I'm guessing in the Monsters Haunted House there will be a room that looks like a theater of some sort, And that's where Phantom of the Opera will come and find us. Love it. There is the werewolf. I think he looks pretty good. At first, I was like, what is that? Is that a mummy? Right? When he's looking directly at the camera. But when he turns and you can see his ear, I think it's a pretty good take on the werewolf. See, he's got his ears right there. I think this is a really cool mask. You have to remember, too, this is a house that's going to be open every single night, 365 days. They have to get creative with the way that they're putting people into costume and makeup. They need to find ways to optimize that process and make it easier, make it cheaper. They're doing it several times a day probably for all these actors. So you got to give them credit when it comes to that alone on how some of this stuff looks. Big long teeth, the long fangs. It looks like this is more Phantom of the Opera. Or no, this is Dracula. Dracula looks crazy. What's that? What is that? What is this? This looks like the Mummy. I think this is the Mummy. Are we going to have some sort of haunted pyramid? Haunted tombs? Bro, that looks insane. Like I was just saying, they have to optimize and create costumes and makeup designs that are going to allow them to be able to get into costume and makeup relatively fast. I'm sure this still takes a couple hours, but they have to do this every single day for multiple actors, right? That looks really good, man. They're not holding back on the makeup department. There's the Mummy popping out and scaring the crap out of that guy. There's the creature of the Black Lagoon. Let's rewind that one more time on the creature. Once again, really good job with the mask, makeup, and costume on this. That looks amazing. There's Dracula again, biting his wife. Dracula is demonic. This guy right here, here's another vampire of some sort. I feel like I should know who that is. The green drool coming out of his mouth and glowing in the black light is such a vibe. Hell yeah. That looks to be Phantom of the Opera as well. I could be wrong on that. Let me see. Bro, love the mask design. I love this mask design right here. This demon mask design. Looks like it's Phantom of the Opera taking it off. He uses the mask to hide his messed up face. That was so cool. That was so cool when he turned and showed his head. Hell yeah, dude. There's the wolf again, Wolfman. There's a guy getting the shit scared out of him by the wolf. All right, and now these next parts in the trailer seem to be showing a little bit of the restaurant area, the bar area, some of the show scenes. And this is stuff that we haven't really seen much of except for like concept art, as far as I can tell. So this is the first time we're seeing any of this, any of these rooms, any of this footage here. And it looks really good. All right. So here's the concept art of Jack's Alley Bar that was previously released. And here we have it in real life, IRL. It's actually a thing. Here it is. Looks really good. This looks like the possibly the Blumhouse lounge area. Let's go back though. Let's try to break down this room here. So we've got people sitting around so it looks like some of the tables will be barrels. We've got people sitting and having drinks. We've got a live performer in the room. She's probably a waitress who performs. There she is. Looks like we got somebody jumping up from over here, right here. So she probably is there the whole time, just kind of performing as people walk by. Got these people having a drink. Like I said, this is probably a waitress that performs. She looks sick as fuck, dude. Holy shit. These people are just walking by. Beer, amusements, sold here. And then, like I said, the next room, this might be the Blumhouse lounge. You've got some scare actors up here performing. You've got some down here, and you can see people are just standing around having drinks in a horror-looking setting. Here's the concept art that they previously released. Looks like this is the main entrance. There's the Scarecrow, scene from the Scarecrow, which we've seen, looks really frightening. Here we go, new footage right here of Jack's Alley. Multiple performers all over the place. Here's more, here's Jack's Alley once again. But yeah, it looks like they're even scaring the shit out of you when you're going in the restaurants. Which is great, I love it. More from the Mummy. Wow, looks really, really good. The makeup and everything looks so good on the Mummy. Here's another scene. Looks like it's another restaurant. You've got people behind, looks like some monsters are chained up behind this fence here as you're walking by. You got something going on over here. Creatures, there's some of the food. Looks like a Dark Universe inspired a little bit there. But yeah, everyone's just kind of eating off these barrels. And there are scare actors everywhere, all over the restaurant. What's this? What scene is that? Some special effects going on over here. Look at the fright. Look at the fear in these people's faces. That looks like a security guard, but look at the fear in these people's faces. They are not trying to show you much, man. These clips go by so fast. So there you have it. We try to break down as much as we can. It's really fast clips that they posted, that they put in this video. They're not trying to show you much, but I do think they're showing us just enough. As far as visuals go, I think this is just enough. We don't want to see everything. We want things to be saved. We don't want to be spoiled, especially on these like costume designs. It's important for us not to know exactly how it's going to look. But you can see, man, they're going all out with this. This is going to be at the level of a Halloween Horror Nights. If not, maybe even better in some cases, because they have the ability that, you know, they're building this from the ground up. They're not coming in and out yearly. They're here 365 days a year. So they're really going to be able to hone in and focus in on some of these costumes, some of these set designs. And I think it's just going to get better and better as time goes by as well. Doesn't look like anybody was left out in this trailer as far as classic monsters go. I didn't see Invisible Man, but he probably was there. We just didn't see him because he's invisible. Yeah, but we did see the Wolfman. We did see Dracula. Oh, did we see Frankenstein? Frankenstein's monster. I don't think we've seen Frankenstein's monster. They showed him in the beginning. We get him right there from some footage, some old classic footage. But no, I don't think we've seen him. That was Phantom. Black Lagoon, Creature of the Black Lagoon. Some sort of Wolfman / vampire. I feel like I should know who this is and I don't. I guess it's just a wolf. Is it the Wolfman? Yeah, it's the Wolfman. It's just the Wolfman. I'm an idiot. It's the Wolfman mid-turn, I think. More Phantom. But where's your boy Frankenstein's monster at? This scene right here. Looks like he's got food in his hand. Is that what it is? Yeah. So even when you grab your food and you're walking to look for a table, you've got to deal with scare actors trying to scare the shit out of you. What happens if you drop your food before you even get a chance to sit down? Are they going to give us some different meals, some new meals? Not even a second of anybody that looks like Frankenstein's monster. Where's Frankenstein at, yo? They showed the classic Frankenstein movie, but no Frankenstein in the house as of now. I'm guessing Frankenstein is in there, right? He's got to be. Maybe he is the main event of that house. Maybe he's in the finale room, the finale scene, and they want to save it. Hopefully. We need Frankenstein. So there you have it, guys. This shit looks crazy. I'm really hyped on this, as you guys can tell. I had to jump on here and break this down for you guys, with you guys. I'm sure you guys are doing the same. I did want to let you know that yesterday they released an interview with Dave Solo. So Universal Studios has their own podcast called Discover Universal Podcast. And they did an interview with Dave Solo. So Dave Solo is a Universal horror expert. They did this interview with him, right? And I believe this is the first interview they've done with anybody from Horror Unleashed. It's the first interview they've done, the first episode they've done covering Horror Unleashed. And they say that they're going to tell us all these details about Horror Unleashed. It's a 10-minute interview. They did not tell us jack shit. They didn't tell us anything. It was the most basic ass interview I've ever heard in my life. They said the word horror like 125 times, and they just kept it so basic and so vague. I don't get what the point of this shit was. Why did they do this? You can watch the interview yourself and see, but like, this is the gist of it.
Beautiful. And as horror fans, as Halloween Horror Night fans, I think you understand what I mean.
Horror kind of genre and stuff. So
he says,
this in a word, it's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be beautiful. That's about all the information he gave us on Halloween Horror Nights. I mean, on Horror Unleashed. It's going to be beautiful. Bro, let's fucking break this shit down, dude. Talk about the houses. Talk about the restaurant. Talk about a little bit of the experience from when you first walk in. Like, give us something. This dude gave us the most vague, basic-ass answers I've ever heard in my life. And I'm not blaming this guy. I'm sure he was put on some constraints from the producers at Universal. But whoever made these decisions to make this interview so vague, this is the first time we're getting a Horror Unleashed interview from the Universal podcast. And they gave us the most boring, basic interview I've ever heard in my life. And it was only 10 minutes long. Where is the facts? Where is the hype? Where is the info? I don't want this vague talk.
You know, you got your like Halloween season, but this is for us year round. I can go in April. We've talked about that before.
We know it's 365 days. We got that. We've been talking about that for a year.
It's like, how would you describe this experience in a nutshell? Obviously leaving some to be desired, right?
Leaving some to be desired. They left all of it to be desired. If anything, I'm underwhelmed now. If anything, I left watching this interview and I'm like, oh, I guess it's not that big of a deal, this Horror Unleashed haunted house. Because they undersold the shit out of it in this interview.
Obviously.
How would you describe it?
Horror doesn't sleep.
And he says beautiful. Beautiful? That's what you're telling us? This is about a haunted house. Why didn't you say it was a walking nightmare, a living nightmare? Why didn't you say anything that would hype us up? So that interview came out yesterday and I was like upset about it because I was like, oh, I got so stoked when I seen it pop up in my YouTube feed. Like, oh, we've got our first like interview on the Universal podcast about Horror Unleashed. Like, let's get some information. They're probably going to break some things down. Maybe they're going to talk about like the schedule. Maybe they're going to talk about the shows. Maybe they're going to talk about what you can expect when you buy a ticket. Like how long can you expect to stay there? How long are you going to be entertained when you buy a ticket? I was expecting things like that, you know, like really sell us on these tickets. This place opens in 2 months and they didn't give us shit, man. They told us it was going to be beautiful, nice, sick. Thanks. Look at that. We have some sort of interview that just got released. So maybe we can get some actual context and some actual substance, some actual news, some information. Let's see. Eve I Feng Chen says, I spoke with 2 longtime Halloween Horror Nights creators who are now shaping Universal's new horror experience in Las Vegas. The character interactions really stuck out. This is from USA Today. June 18th, that is today, just posted a little while ago at 12 o'clock. So like 2 hours ago, this got posted. Maybe we'll get some information. Let's see. Let's see if if they can get me to shut up. I'm going to read the whole thing here. In an exclusive interview with USA Today, they shared more about what guests can expect when Universal Horror Unleashed opens in August. How is Horror Unleashed different from Halloween Horror Nights? Universal Horror Unleashed won't just be a longer version of Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. You're a little bit locked in at the parks, said Stevenson, show director for Universal's creative development group. Both he and Manarino have worked on Horror Nights for years. You know what works and you go for it. And the turnaround is so fast for the next year that you're just on to the next year. But this really gave us a chance to kind of innovate and think outside the box and say, how can we take this amazing thing that we've got and take it to the next level? With Horror Unleashed, they had a chance to build a permanent home for horror from the ground up in a newly expanded area at the Area 15 Entertainment District off the Las Vegas Strip. To be on the side of creating it and envisioning it is a dream come true or a nightmare, said Manarino, Vice President in Entertainment of Art and Design at Universal Resort. The story begins even before guests enter the building, which is set as a production warehouse where horror film props were stored, a nod to Universal's century-long legacy of horror films. The overarching story just for Horror Unleashed in general is that there's kind of a parallel world that lives besides ours. And in that world, we call it the shadow world. All of your nightmares are actually realities, Stevenson said. He explained that in some areas like Sin City and this production warehouse in particular, the veil between the worlds is thinner. They stuck so many spiritually charged things in this warehouse that it erupted and it broke the veil between the shadow world and our world. So, when you're in the warehouse, some of those creatures and those monsters and those things that have spilled out from the shadow world, he said, there are 4 haunted houses at Universal Unleashed with a mix of intellectual property and original content like Horror Nights. Beyond the haunted houses, there's 4 immersive areas with their own themes. One is kind of more classic, which is where the monsters come in, the classic Universal monsters. And then one is more kind of like a slasher 80s sort of feel. And another is more of kind of like a poltergeist sort of feel. And then another one is more traditional and circusy where Jack shows up, Stevenson said, referring to Jack the Clown, a Horror Nights icon. Getting into character. Each space will also feature various characters with fully fleshed, interconnected stories that guests can engage with. In the parks, you have all these incredible characters out in the streets and they're running and they're scaring you, but it's kind of like a moment in time. They scare you and then they go, Stevenson said. But with these characters, you can actually walk up to them and chat with them. Get a couple of fun anecdotes about their life and move on, if that's the level of immersion you want. Or you can just sit there and talk to them for 15 minutes and learn all about the warehouse and all about the story. This right here, this is the kind of information I wanted out of that interview with Dave Solo. This is what I was talking about. Sell us on what we're going to do when we get to this place. So I'm glad this interview with USA Today is actually getting down to it. There will also be uniquely themed areas for food and drinks. I could see people buying a ticket and just going out there and hanging out for the night because it's such a cool environment, Stevenson said. I just want a drink at the boiler bar that turns into a monster and becomes this really cool show moment. So you know what I think that reminds me of? I think it's called Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar at the Polynesian in Disney World, Orlando. That reminds me of what that is, right? You order a drink and you get like these show scenes. The waiters, the waitresses, they perform for you based on what you ordered for a drink. It's a really cool bar. It's very immersive. It's hard to get there. It's a really long waiting list every single day because it's a small bar. But that's kind of what that right there reminds me of, what that line reminds me of. I just want to drink at the boiler bar that turns into a monster and becomes this really cool show moment. So even when you're at the restaurants, even when you're just getting a drink, random scenes will start happening in this immersive world that you are now living in. I think that's really fucking sick. These are all opening attractions, but from the beginning, Universal has said the venue will feature continuously updated horror experiences. It has to evolve. It has to change. How does that change and what that cadence is? I think it's still for us to tell you as we learn also. Room for everyone. For now, guests can expect something different each visit depending on how they engage. Spend as much time, come back as many times as they want, but feel like this place also has life and it grows and it changes, so every time you come back, you do see the world differently. How much are Universal Horror Unleashed tickets? Tickets are already on sale and start at $69 for one-time entry to each house, or $59 for Nevada residents, and $99 for unlimited access to houses. And that's the article. That's all we've got. That article was so much better than the interview with Dave Solo on the Universal podcast. They actually sold me on some things. They gave me some new information. That's all we wanted. That's all we needed. Some new updates. I'm glad I caught that while I was recording. I'm on their website. I just want to give you guys an idea for pricing. General admission tickets, one-time access, step into a relentlessly sinister, immersive horror experience each haunted house once, $69 per person, right? Then you go to select the number of people. I'm going to go with just one. They say that it starts at $69. Where do you see $69? I don't see $69 anywhere. I see $89 more than anything. $79 on Thursdays, $89 every other day. That's in August. September, $79, $79, $89, $89. So September goes to $79, $89. Late September, $99 on weekends. October, $99 almost every single day. A couple of 79 and 89 sprinkled in there during the week. November, $99. There's your $69. $69 starts, the pricing for $69 starts in November. But it doesn't last because on the weekends it shoots right back up to $100. December looks like a lot of $69, a lot more cheaper. January $69, $79, and then February $69, $79. And I'm guessing as they sell more tickets, they're going to raise pricing, just like they do for the theme parks. So there's your pricing for regular general admission tickets. Then they got general admission ticket one-time access for the Nevada residents, and then they've got general admission tickets unlimited access starting at $99. But let's see if it really starts at $99. No, for August, it starts at $129, $119, September, $119, $150. October is $150 for the unlimited access on weekends, and then $130 during the week. So yeah, that gives you an idea of what the pricing is like. It's a little bit more expensive than what they're promoting in their press releases and when you go straight to their website. Plan your visit. Located approximately 10 minutes from the Strip in downtown Las Vegas, rideshare is strongly encouraging as parking is very limited. Please note that valet parking is not available. So that's a big one right there that I'm not too sure people are talking about. They are encouraging to do rideshare to go to this place because parking is very limited. Just something to keep in mind. Universal Horror Unleashed is located at Area 15, which restricts access to minors at certain times of the week. Here's another piece of information that should be more on people's radar. I just went over the fact that, you know, it's not recommended for children under the age of 13 to go. And then at Area 15, where Horror Unleashed is located, they restrict access to minors at certain times of the week. And they do have a chaperone policy, and you can go to it and click and see what it is. Yes, Area 15 is open for all ages with the exception of Friday and Saturday nights, where visitors must be 18 or older with a valid driver's license or ID to enter after 8 p.m. Visitors under the age of 18 must be accompanied by an adult for the duration of the visit. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what Area 15 even is. So let's check out their website. Immerse yourself in a world beyond. Area 15 is a must-see immersive entertainment district located in Las Vegas. Let's go to attractions and rides. Is this where the that crazy supermarket is? Choose your own outer-worldly adventure. So they got AR Dodgeball, an Army of the Dead VR experience, Battle the Dead, Save the Living, jump into a tactical taco truck with your bravest squad, then fight off zombies. And then they've got an asylum bar and arcade, Birdly, a high-flying fight simulator, dueling axes, virtual golf, Grand Prix racing sim, John Wick experience, laser maze. There it is. Meow Wolf's Omega Mart. I had a feeling that this is where it was. Astonishing, unpredictable, mind-bending, featuring jaw-dropping work from international and local artists. Omega Mart sends participants of all ages on a journey through surreal worlds. Museum Fiasco, an immersive audiovisual experience. Origin Quest, unlock the mysteries. So this Area 15 has a lot of stuff to do, which is great because I didn't realize it had all this stuff. So I was like, am I gonna go to Las Vegas for one day at Horror Unleashed? But they have a lot of stuff right there. It is worth noting that all of this stuff costs extra money, right? They all have tickets associated with them. It's not just like one price to do all the Area 15 stuff. You are going to be spending money on every single experience. So as you can see on YouTube, on Google, you click news, you type in Universal Horror Unleashed. There's barely anybody covering this stuff, man. It goes from 2 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours to then 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Nobody is talking about this. None of the news outlets are really covering this. Universal themselves aren't like flooding the internet with a lot of content on this. I'm hoping they kick into overdrive soon because, like I said, if they want this to be a success, especially these first opening months, we need some information. We need more stuff out there. So there you guys have it. I tried to break down as much information as I can find. Not much out there, but I am glad we spotted that USA Today article last minute right before I wrapped up. That did give us some more insight and did hype me up a little bit. At the end of the day, I'm stoked as hell for this. I cannot wait to experience this myself. If anybody from Universal Horror Unleashed is watching right now, hook your boy up with a preview ticket. I would appreciate that. I will come through and I will hype up the fuck out of everybody. So yeah, guys, I'm stoked about this. I will continue to make updates as things become available. So just look out for me. Hit subscribe, like this video. More importantly than any of that, leave a comment. I really want to get these comments popping off on my YouTube channel. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think of everything. Let me know if you're in the same mindset as me, where you feel like we're less than 2 months out and we're not getting enough information. Do you feel like that? Or are you the opposite and you're glad that they're not giving us a lot of details, so that way there's more surprises for you when you actually get to the haunted house? So yeah, just let me know your thoughts in general in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and I will catch you guys next time.